As a black race, we are faced with a lot of problems. It's not only the problems of crime, it's not only problems of incarcerations, problems of drugs, but also we have problems of suicide, where one of the late statistics that were thrown around also in terms of suicide was that out of every 18 females who commit suicide, about 86 male commit suicide. And balance of that. Now, count for yourself the amount of black boys we are losing in this system. The origin of polygamy in Africa, it was originated by women, the great mothers of the nation. The women we call Taria Sechaba, the women who ruled this continent. We were ruled by mothers before. We were ruled by women. We still have kingdoms that are ruled by women, like the Balobedi of Queen Mujaji, the Rain Queen, like most other nations. The other day here, the Zulu king passed, and the power passed to the regent, the queen, to nominate the next, to rule for the next 30 days, and then nominate the next successor. So we have always been like that. We have always been striking a balance between the female and the male, and the boy and the girl. And this is the balance that we must always maintain. The balance of the male and the female. No one is above, no one is below, no one is the head and the other one is the tail. We have always spoken of a balanced society. The man is the head of the homestead, the woman is the head of the family. Indoda, inhloko, yomuzi, umfazi, inhloko ekhaya. It's always been like that. We have never had a debate of gender equality, to the point that now the result of gender equality, it is this talk called toxic masculinity. It needs to be neutralized, and the method of neutralizing it are nothing but deflowering of the male, are nothing but deconstructing the male. They are system that are systematically put in place, sociologically, culturally, politically. They have legislations for them passed in parliament. They have a whole lot of forums in our social circles and settings where they are talking about this toxic masculinity, but nobody's telling us of toxic femininity. Feminism is toxic femininity. And we can see it in the difference between the black feminist and the white feminist. The black feminist, when she go home to sleep alone. The white feminists go home to sleep with her husband. Now, even our understanding of this thing is not the same. For the black woman, when feminism is a battle against her natural opposite, her male counterpart, her male balance. They find relevance in demonizing the black man, in fighting the black boy, and in bringing this toxic masculinity talk themselves. They are the ones who invented it, created it, but all of this is a plan. Depopulation program, depopulation of the black race. And to do that, you have to make the black dick impotent and stop functioning. And if it does function, it functions in the wrong place. Instead of functioning in the vagina and put a seed into the womb and impregnate the woman and bring a child, it is functioning in the anus and getting where it is not supposed to get in, and fertilizing nothing and contributing nothing to the gene pool of mankind. Now, we need to tread carefully as Africans. As long as other people define reality for us, can make up concepts for us, give us ideas that we find ourselves using European concepts to define certain African phenomena and calling those African phenomena with European concepts, which are basically a misrepresentation of those African phenomena, then we're in trouble. We are a race at war. As a race at war, we must always understand that race war means to say we will need to have an overproduction of the black boys. And our society has shown and proven to us that we have more women than men. Now, how do you strike a balance when a quarter of the men is in prison, another quarter of men is in drugs, and another quarter of men is in rehabilitation centers, another quarter of men is being effeminized within the society they are living in, and then you have a very little section of the black male population contributing into the gene pool of the black race and multiplication of the black race and fortification of us, so that we do not become second to anybody and we do not become slaves to everyone as we are now. We're slaves to Europeans, slaves to Arabs, now we're about to be slaves to Chinese, who are in 44 African countries taking resources and all of these things. And we find ourselves, the black male, using so much of his black strength and energy fighting another black brother, whether under the pretext of xenophobia or tribalism or politics. So we need to watch out for this. Toxic masculinity, it is an agenda of other people which does not speak to us about toxic femininity, because you cannot use one extremity to combat another extremity. We need to strike a balance. We give thanks. One of the statistics that came around 2018 was that in South African prisons, mind you, in South Africa we have about 230 prisons. Now in South African prisons, we have about 165,000 black male and about 6,000 females. Now counter that, balance it for yourself, and then it already tell you of disproportional balance. And then if you going again into the drug consumption, basically the black boy is a statistic. When they say crime, they talk about black boys. When you talk about unemployment, you talk about black boys. When you talk about poverty, you talk about black boys. So these are the problems that now we have to deal with them in the process of challenging this feminization of the boys in the name of neutralizing toxic masculinity. Give thanks.